Namaskar. This is Dr. Sudarshan Sambhajirao Pedge, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, Kailasashrasika Mahadev Devne. In the last lecture, we have studied the abiotic component. There are two abiotic components we have studied. That is, number one is the light abiotic components we have completed, as well as second one, that is the temperature abiotic component. It also be completed. So today we will focus on next abiotic component, that is the third one, water. So let's get started today's lecture. We know very well medium is the material which immediately surround the organism. The organism lies inside the medium and it make biological exchange with the medium. Okay. Medium is an abiotic environmental factor. The medium is inevitable for the survival of the organism. Every organism has a particular medium. Okay. The medium is divided into two types. As per your syllabus, we have seen today only one medium, that is the water. Okay. So water is aptly described by as the water is aptly described as the mother of life. Okay. It is the liquid gold. Okay. We know very well. Without water, we can't survive. As well as any kind of living organism cannot survive without water. Okay. And that we call as, that is the water is the liquid gold. Okay. And we know very well water is universal solvent also. Okay. It is the largest medium of life, as well as it occupies 70% of the earth's surface, right? Actually the name of our planet is Earth, for the misnomer, because the land part of our planet is only 29%. The remaining is the 71% being water. Hence the correct name for our planet should be water, not Earth. Okay. Because water occupies 71%. Okay, area. That's why we call it the water planet, not Earth. Okay. This is the one particular imaginary theory, not I call it as. Okay. Another next, that is the structure of water. Okay. We know very well water is a simple inorganic compound formed by the combination of hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, two molecule of hydrogen plus oxygen, one molecule of oxygen, and form molecule of water molecule. Okay, that is the structure of water. Okay, is it any form of water? Yes, there are three form of water we have seen. Okay, which is the liquid state, solid state, and vapor state. Okay, in the liquid state, it exists in two forms, namely seawater and freshwater. Right? Freshwater may be present on the surface of the earth as a surface water in ponds, lakes, rivers, etc., or under the earth surface as a groundwater, right? That is the liquid state. Another second, solid state. The solid state of water is called ice. Okay, when the temperature of water drops below 0 degrees Celsius, water freezes to become ice. Okay. Another last third form of water, that is the vapor state. In that vapor state, it is the vapor means the it is the gaseous state. Okay. When the temperature of water increases, it evaporates to become vapor. Okay. It exists in two forms. Okay, namely invisible humidity and visible cloud. Okay, the moisture present in the atmospheric air is called humidity. What is meant by the humidity? The moisture present in the atmospheric air is called humidity. Okay. What is the humidity? Another, that is the next point, that is the sources of water. How many sources of water we have seen in our land? The main sources of water are the precipitation, groundwater, springes, sea, ponds, lakes, rivers, etc. Right? These are the sources of water, and all forms of water falling on the earth from atmosphere is called precipitation. Okay, what is meant by the precipitation? All forms of water falling on the earth from atmosphere is called precipitation. Okay, as well as the rainfall is the most common form of precipitation. Okay, and snow, sleet, and hail are the other forms of precipitation. Okay, this is the sources of water. Okay, another next, types of water. On the basis of salts present in the water is classified into two types. Okay, first hard water, and second one is the soft water. Okay, in the first one, hard water does not give foam with soap. Okay, it contains soluble chlorides, sulfates, and bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium ion. Okay, hard water means does not give foam with soap. Okay, and it contains soluble chlorides, sulfates, and bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium ion. Okay, that water is called hard water. Okay, another, that is the another, the next is the soft water. Soft water products foam with soap. The salts like calcium and magnesium are absent from the soft water. That's why we call it as soft water. Okay, means soft water is easily uh, form with soap. Okay, easily form foam means paste. Okay, another is the hydrological cycle. What is meant by the hydrological cycle? The circulation of water between the atmosphere and the earth surface is called hydrological cycle. Okay, what is meant by the hydrological cycle? The circulation of water between the atmosphere and the earth surface is called hydrologic cycle. Okay, the water from the earth surface reaches the atmosphere by two methods, that is the, or by two means, namely there is the evaporation and transpiration. Okay, what is meant by the evaporation? The water from the sea ponds and lakes gets vaporized by solar heat. This is called evaporation. What is the water from the sea, ponds and lakes as well as rivers get vaporized by solar heat. This is called evaporation. Okay, and another one is the transpiration. The excess amount of water absorbed by the plants is vaporized from various parts of plant body. This phenomenon is called as transpiration. Means excess amount of water absorbed by the plants is vaporized from various parts of plants body. That phenomenon is called as transpiration. Okay. These are the two main water the water from the earth surface reaches the atmosphere by two means, that is the evaporation and transpiration. Okay, another next is the classification of animals on the basis of water requirement. We know very well depending on the requirement of water, ecologically animals are classified in three groups, that is the hydroseals, xeroseals and mesoseals. Okay, in the hydroseals we know very well, and these animals require very large amount of water. That animals is called the hydroseals. Okay, and they have aquatic adaptations such as streamlined body and fins present in that. Okay, that's we call it as that is the hydroseel. Okay, another that is the xeroseals. We know very well those animals that is the generally terrestrial animals. Some is terrestrial animals which can tolerate dry conditions and survive long time without water. Okay, and they have adaptation for desert life. We have seen in the desert. Okay, we know very well that is the one particular example of desert is the Pharaoh as well as the camel also. Okay, that is they have tolerated dry conditions and survive long time without water. Okay, that's why we call it as that is the zero cells animal. And another next and last third is the mesocells. Mesocells means those animals require moderate amount of water. Okay, and they exhibit amphibious mode of life. Okay, we know very well that is all amphibians are the living in water as well as land. Okay, because they have very little moderate amount of water. Okay, example land planarians, earthworms and amphibians also. Okay, another that is the properties of water. We know very well solvency is the main and important property of water. Water is the only solvent which dissolves maximum number of organic and inorganic substances. Hence it is called as universal solvent. Okay, another the specific heat. The specific heat is defined as the number of calories necessary to raise 1 gram of water to 1 degree Celsius. Okay, the specific heat of water is the 1. This is very high when compared to other liquids. Okay, as a result, water is capable of storing tremendous quantities of heat energy. Okay, heat energy with a relatively small rise in temperature. Okay. Another next is the third, that is the latent heat. Latent heat is the quantity of heat required to change a substance from the solid state to the liquid state, or from the liquid state to the gaseous state. Okay, that is called as the latent heat. Latent heat is the quantity of heat required to change a substance from the solid state to the liquid state, or from the liquid state to the gaseous state. That particular property is called that is latent heat. Okay, and water has a high latent heat. Okay, as a result, the large quantities of heat energy must be removed before water can change from the liquid state to the solid state. Okay. Another next is the thermal conductivity. Okay, among liquids, okay, water has the large highest heat conductivity. Okay, this help to maintain uniform temperature. Okay, the thermal conductivity of water is I think 0.0125. Okay, this is the thermal conductivity. It means the highest heat transfer or highest heat conduct. Okay, okay. This is not for as ask examination in the what is the properties of water. I will give here. It is for your information or extra information also. Okay, and the next is the uh, viscosity, surface tension, buoyancy, density, salinity, pressure, transparency, pH, temperature, uh, oxygen and temperature, CO2, nitrogen, and H2S gas also. That is the temperature and oxygen. Oxygen is the very important factor because without oxygen, no any kind of animal survive easily. It is the one an important element in the water. Okay. All aquatic animals totally depends on the dissolved oxygen for respiration. Very well, and water receives oxygen in the very large amount of source. Okay. Another next carbon dioxide. In the carbon dioxide remix is dissolved in the water, and it also present in the form of carbonates and bicarbonates, calcium and magnesium ion. All aquatic plants and phytoplanktons. It totally depends on CO2 for photosynthesis. Okay, this is the properties of water. Okay, thank you all. So today we have seen the abiotic component of water. The abiotic component of water. We have studied forms of water. There are three forms of water: liquid, solid, and vapor. Sources of water: precipitation, groundwater, sponges, sea, lake, etc. Types of water: hard water and soft water. Hydrological cycle, as well as the classification of animals on the basis of water requirement, and we focus on properties of water. Okay, properties of water is not asked in examination, but uh, I will give here for the uh, components, abiotic component, extra information for you. So thank you all.